Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Ordinarily the home of the Detroit Pistons of the NBA, but tonight the 6th-ranked Michigan Wolverines are the home team as they entertain the Cyclones of Iowa State. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Dick Vitale. Delighted to have you with us for the 4th of 6 games tonight on ESPN. And Dick, these are two teams that enter the season with high expectations. Michigan is 4-1, but Steve Fisher says they've just played okay, and okay isn't good enough when the expectations are to win the national championship.
Sean, it's been unbelievable, the expectations on this Michigan basketball team. I think they've been unrealistic. Number one, people have to look at the fact they lost 9 games last year. They lost 7 in the Big Ten. This team got hot at tournament time, and unfortunately for Steve Fisher, the mentality now is win the national championship or it's a failure. For it to happen, they need great guard play. Jalen Rose has that problem on his back, and I'm not convinced that Jalen is a legitimate point guard. He's a versatile, tremendous athlete.
Iowa State also came into this season with high expectations after 21 wins last year and a trip to the NCAA tournament. They're 5-2, but their 2 quality opponents blew them out.
Well, psychologically, this is a big test, Sean, for Iowa State and Johnny Orr. They were blown out by Florida State. They were blown out by Iowa. They need a strong performance here to get back some confidence, to believe they can play with all the big-timers.
It's the Big 8 against the Big 10 from the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan. We'll have the starting lineups and the tip right after this. Welcome back to the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan. They expect a crowd of about 19,000 tonight to watch the 8th meeting all time between Iowa State and Michigan. The starting lineup tonight for the Cyclones, sponsored by McDonald's, and the Cyclones led into this battle by the sophomore from Czechoslovakia, Julius Mikulik.
Mikulik has to have a big game, Sean. He's got to knock down the three-point shot. He's 6'11". I really believe he's about 6'10 and a half. But he has to have a big game for Johnny Orr for them to hang with the Wolverines.
Johnny Orr owns the distinction of being the winningest coach at both of these schools. He was the head coach at Michigan for 12 years. He's in his 13th season at Iowa State. The Michigan lineup features leading scorer at 20 points per game, also a sophomore, Chris Webber.
Well, when you talk about one of the great players in college basketball, certainly Webber's name comes up. He keys their transition game with his great rebounding ability and his ability to block shots.
Steve Fisher in his 4th full season at Michigan. And he got to 70 wins faster than any basketball coach in Michigan history. And there is Chris Webber, the sophomore from Detroit.
He seems to have his game face on. I mean, he was really intense during the workouts.
He'll jump for Michigan. Tom Rucker throws the ball in the air, and Webber controlled the tip from Lauren Meyer of Iowa State.
Iowa State is really shaking up their lineup. Thigpen not starting, one of their outstanding guards returning from last year. Man-to-man defense by Iowa State.
We expect both sides to play primarily man-to-man defense tonight. The steal by Hurl Beecham, number 53. He's one of the new starters for the Cyclones. Mikulik on the line, missed the shot. And it's out of bounds off Jalen Rose. The Cyclones will keep it.
Mikulik likes to shoot that three from out of Czechoslovakia. Almost went to UCLA. Jimmy Herrick really wanted him badly, but he said, I like Ames better.
He said he liked the weather in Ames better than he liked the weather in Southern California.
Wow.
10 starters on the floor, 9 of them sophomores. Ron Bayless, number 4 for Iowa State, the only non-sophomore. He's a senior with the ball now.
He had 30 against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament where they played Kentucky really tough in that second round.
Iowa State showing patience, down to 25 on the shot clock.
Trying to show some poise offensively, looking for that good high percentage shot, little screen and roll.
And Bayless off glass and no good. Mikulik was fouled as he put it back up.
That's one of the areas that they've really had a problem when you talk Iowa State early. Rebounding. They really are not an aggressive team and a very physical team. And that's been a dilemma against the likes of Iowa and the likes of Florida State.
Ray Jackson whistles for the foul, the first of the game. It's an excellent free throw shooting Iowa State team. They come in at 72.6% collectively. And Mikulik now 18 of 19 from the line this year.
Well, they're really outstanding on that free throw line. When you talk Mikulik, because of Mikulik,
Jimmy Herrick ended up with Richard Petruska, who's also from Czechoslovakia. He went to Loyola Marymount first, but then came back. He saw him when he was recruiting Mikalik.
That's for 3, no good. As it was fired up by Ray Jackson. Weber the follow, he missed. It's controlled by Beecham.
Michigan, a dominant team on the glass. The other night, they out-rebounded Cleveland State 51-24.
Lauren Meyer the miss. He got a couple of tips. Now it's Weber. 4-on-1 Michigan.
Little showtime. A momentum builder. Weber's excellent out in the transition game. He's an excellent passer.
And Mikalik's pass picked off by Jackson.
That's a walk-in violation. See, this is an area where I really think Michigan has a major dilemma. When you talk about playing against the great teams like the Indianas, the Kansas, and the Dukes, I think you have to have solid guard play. And that's the area when I look at Michigan, I don't see that kind of consistency out of their perimeter people. Jalen Rose is not a legitimate point guard. He's an outstanding athlete.
Lauren Meyer along the baseline. Beecham the turnaround, and he was fouled.
Freddie Heiberg was wide open. Hoiberg was wide open on a cut off the high post, and they missed them.
That's 2 quick fouls on Ray Jackson, so here comes Rob Pelinka off the bench for the Wolverines.
Pelinka gives him an outside shooting threat. He can shoot the long-range shot. That's Perry Watson on the sideline, an assistant coach. Had a brilliant record over at Southwestern High School in Detroit, Michigan.
Pearl Beecham makes the first. He's a sophomore from Des Moines.
He knocked down 4 threes last night. They played last night against Mercer College at home. Blew him out. I have a problem with that. I don't think you should be allowed to play. The NCAA should put a rule in and try to eliminate back-to-back games if you have to travel more than 100 miles.
They wanted to change the game when they had the opportunity to play Michigan on national television, but Mercer wouldn't change. Nice pass. Howard down to Jimmy King for the 2.
Excellent interior pass by Jawan Howard on the interior. They got in about 2:30 in the morning last night.
And they beat Mercer handily last night. Their 5th win of the year, a steal by Weber. He led the Big Ten in steals last year.
Great look. Just a tremendous look. He's got tremendous mobility and agility.
We played 2.5 minutes. Michigan with a 4-point lead. Another foul call. This one's on Jimmy King, who can't believe it.
Chris Weber is such a dominant player. When you look at different phases of his game, great shot blocking ability, defensive rebounding ability. The only area I believe he's got to work on is moving without the ball. Here he is, a little shake and bake, the no-look pass. The great dump down to Pelinka. Gets the 45-degree angle for the cut.
Chris Weber goes to the bench as Eric Riley checked in. 6-2 Michigan. 17-20 to play in the first half.
Riley, a really good guy to bring off the bench. Last year had a big game against Oklahoma State in the NCAA. 15 points, 10 rebounds. Man-to-man defense, trying to put some pressure on the basketball.
And again, patience by the Cyclones, down to 23 on the shot clock. And there's a foul, an illegal screen called against Julius Mikalik. His first foul, first against Iowa State.
In this situation right now, it's very important for Johnny Orr's team to play them close. He is one of the funniest guys on the sideline. I mean, you talk to Johnny Orr, he'll just put you in unbelievable hysterics.
Since going to Iowa State, this is the 4th time that Johnny Orr has coached against Michigan. He has a 2-1 record against them. And there's another foul, this one called against Bayless.
Had a big win in 1986 when he beat Michigan. That was the NCAA tournament out of Minnesota. That was a great win over the Roy Tarpley era team that won the Big Ten championship. And then he lost to a team from Raleigh, North Carolina, coached by a guy by the name of Jim Valvano in the next round. Do you know Valvano? I don't know him.
Haven't met him.
I've never met him.
Riley, his first shot, the follow by Jawan Howard.
Howard's got really quick feet, very physical, strong body from the low post. Good rebound in position.
Michigan has run off 8 straight points. They lead 8-2. Beecham, an excellent 3-point shooter, and now Bayless the point guard.
Iowa State trying to show some poise offensively, some patience. Swinging the ball side to side. Usually you'll break a defense down if you can make that many cuts.
Lauren Meyer way off. Howard the rebound.
Shot that ball like he was intimidated.
Jalen Rose. Shoots over Bayless. 10-2.
Big-time scorer. He's got great scoring ability. He broke the Michigan all-time record for points by a freshman last year.
There'll be a TV timeout on the next whistle, and Iowa State can use it. Howard got a hand on it to bat at the King.
Double dribble.
King double dribble. With the score, Michigan 10 and Iowa State 2. We'll return to the Palace on ESPN in just a moment. Sean McDonough with Dick Vitale back at the Palace. Michigan with a 10-2 lead.
We're going to show right now, Sean. Watch right now how we see Howard get to the glass after the ball's entered. The missed shot. Watch him right down the gut for an offensive rebound. We're going to watch number 25. There goes the ball. Freeze it. Now right here. He's got inside position. He's smelling this. He's saying, please miss it, Riley. Please miss it. I'm converting that baby. And there is the offensive rebound with the jam. Juwan Howard with a big body. And now he goes to the sideline. Look at Iowa State. 0 for 6.
Johnny Orr said in order to compete tonight, the Cyclones have to shoot the ball well. Certainly at 0 for 6, they have not done that through the first 4.5 minutes.
That's the area that's really disappointed John early this season. Their ability to shoot the basketball. And he thought he was going to have a real good shooting team.
Justice Thigpen has checked in now for the Cyclones. He has the ball, number 24, playing in front of about 24 friends and family. He's from Flint, Michigan. His first shot was off the mark. Weber leads the 3-on-2, and he charged. No basket.
They take the play away from Chris Weber on the charge. He is such a brilliant passer in transition.
Offensive foul called on Michigan's number 4, Chris Weber.
First foul on Weber.
That's his first, the team's 4.
Now Hoiberg in the 32. We haven't heard much from him through the first 5 minutes. They call him the mayor because he's so popular in Ames. It's his hometown.
He's an outstanding football player. Good offensive rebound right there. Meyer gets inside position.
Followed up the miss by Mikalik. 10-4. That's the first field goal of the night for the Cyclones. That's too easy for Chris Weber.
Kansas City inside. He posts up real strong. That's the one area I believe they got to utilize him more. Take advantage of his tremendous spinning ability on the bottom, on the baseline, and his great agility. He's got great hands, Weber.
Hoiberg was on the line. That's a 2-point field goal.
Freddie Hoiberg, if he's playing right now for Pitino, he'd go to the sideline because Pitino says, never shoot the 2 when you can back up and get the 3.
First bucket of the night for Hoiberg. 12-6 Wolverines. Another good pass underneath. And the acrobatic score by Eric Riley.
Eric Riley as a southpaw is second in the Big Ten in rebounding.
7 Michigan players with 2 points apiece for their 14 points. Mikalik from the foul line.
Getting open shots right now. They got to knock them down.
Pelinka is open for 3.
Michigan running the ball up the sideline. Sideline break. Gets the open look at the goal.
5 points for Pelinka. Largest lead now for Michigan. It's 9 as we're down to 13:38 to play in the first half. Bayless had it deflected from behind by Rose. He kept it alive.
Bayless and Thigpen had 62 points between them against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament.
It was the loss in the second round at Worcester, Massachusetts in the East Regional that ended the Cyclone season.
Thigpen's dad played in the NBA. Starred for Dick Motta over at Weber State.
Fouls on Jimmy King as Thigpen looked to drive. Just as Thigpen Sr. played in the NBA with the Kansas City Omaha Kings.
The Omaha Kings, huh? Wow, you do your research, Sean. I'm telling you, I'm so impressed looking at your notes here. It's incredible.
Hoiberg to the bench.
Johnny Orr. If you look at Perry Watson right now, is the assistant I was talking about a little bit earlier from Southwestern. Had a brilliant high school record. Coached so many great players playing Division I. Bashan Leonard now at Minnesota. Had Anderson Hunt, who starred at UNLV.
Lauren Meyer dumped it off to Beecham. And the rebound by Pelinka.
Good inside-outside action. Meyer to Beecham, but he doesn't score.
Weber on the bounce pass from Talley, who just checked in for 2.
He's going to have a field day down inside. They have no one at all that can check him on the baseline. He's just too physically strong. Incredible. My gut feeling is this will be the last year of Chris Weber in a Michigan uniform. I really firmly believe he will be in the NBA draft.
And it was announced yesterday that the draft will be held in June here at the Palace.
June 30th at the Palace.
Mikulik the follow. 2 more for Julius Mikulik. He has 5 points.
That's the area of the game he's got to work on. Rebounding, get a little bit stronger.
As the center of Oklahoma against Loyola Marymount. Weber with 2 more on the follow to miss. He has 6 points.
Right now, he's scoring too easily on the interior. The court is opening up too much right now for Iowa State against Michigan.
An 11-point lead again for the Wolverines. Big Ten playing tonight without a knee brace. Bayless, an NBA 3 to miss. Howard battled his own man Rose for the rebound.
Rose with that great size. Looks over the top of the defense. Wide open shots. There's no defense at all right now by Iowa State. I mean, Sean, you and I can come in and knock those down. Johnny Orr gets a TO, baby.
The 3-pointer by Michael Talley has given Michigan a 24-10 lead.
Hey, I got 2 words for Santa Claus. Deion Santa Claus, okay? Sit down, Santa. Such a big backside down the Yuletide bench. Because this year I'm dreaming of a Santa Claus Christmas where a slim, trim guy in a designer suit scales the highest chimneys, dashes through the deepest snow, and squat thrusts the heaviest presents. You think a Jelly Belly from some elf-infested igloo is going to get the goods there on time? Run! Hey, this year there's no crying and no pouting. Why? Because Deion Santa Claus is coming to town.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
And last year he hit over 300.
ESPN comes your way next. It's a Big Ten Atlantic 10 clash as Lawrence Funderburk and the Ohio State Buckeyes travel to Morgantown, West Virginia to take on the Mountaineers, led by Marcellus Pacey, who's coming off a 30-point performance against Pitt. He leads the Mountaineers in battle, and that is a tough place to play at the Coliseum if you're a road team.
Very tough place, especially when you go with such a young team. Ohio State's been very impressive early this year. Sir Lawrence has been dominating on the inside. Randy Ayer's got a new 5-year contract, and they really, really are fortunate to lay that on him because he's done a fantastic job in Buckeye Land. They got a big game Tuesday night with North Carolina at home. I can't wait to go down and see the Buckeyes.
Michigan sizzling. The Wolverines have hit 7 of their last 8 shots. The Cyclones continue cold, and no defense thrown by Iowa State through the first 8 minutes.
Could be a little fatigue after last night.
Johnny Orr has gone back to the bench for Howard Eaton, number 43. This is Eaton, who started every game of his Iowa State career prior to last night when he did not start.
He's a good role player, tough defensive player.
15 on the shot clock. Bayless double teamed and turned it over to Weber again.
Back to him for the dunk. He says, no, I'm taking that home, baby. What an explosion by Jalen Rose.
4 points for Jalen Rose, and the largest lead of the night for Michigan, 16 points as we approach the midpoint of the first half.
Michigan very impressive early. This is the kind of game they can be impressive in, though, with their great athletes, the transition game. Iowa State really struggling right now. This is a nightmare for Johnny Orr coming back here and having his team perform like this. But I'll tell you what, Michigan's going to lay this on a lot of people.
Ray Jackson back in. Johnny Orr has just watched the 6th Cyclone turnover of the game.
And every time they turn it over, it's a layup on the other end. It's a dunking show. See, here's the area where I think you have to have solid point guard play. 5-on-5.
And Talley gets it to drop in.
I could never understand why Michael Talley doesn't get more PT, playing time. Came out of high school so highly acclaimed out of Cooley High School in Detroit. He was Mr. Basketball in the state.
Talley started 29 games as a sophomore, but saw his playing time reduced. Last year when the Fab 5 arrived, there was even talk of his possibly transferring last year.
Tony Tober transferred, and so did Sam Mitchell. Not because they didn't like Michigan. The bottom line, kids want PT, playing time.
Mikulik had it stripped by Weber, but into the hands of Eaton. He's well short with it. The long rebound out to Jalen Rose. And he turned it over to Thigpen. Mikulik is all alone.
One of the easiest deuce he gets all night. Mikulik with the deuce.
He has 7 of the 12 Iowa State points.
You know, Iowa State preseason, in all the magazines, was a top 20 team.
Just so easy for Michigan. Jackson, that time off the fade from Talley.
We should probably keep a stat of dunks. I mean, it's going to be a dunking show here tonight. Wide open. The lanes are wide open for layups.
And Bayless dropped it. The pass was fine, but he couldn't handle it. 7 turnovers now. And into the game comes Fred Brown, a junior from Riviera Beach, Florida.
Not downtown Freddie Brown's son. His son plays for Iowa, the Hawkeyes. There's Steve Fisher. We want to say best wishes to his dad. His dad is a little bit under the weather. Howard in Illinois. Steve went to visit him the other day. He's 80 years of age. Has great love and feeling for his pop, and he was really concerned and told us, can he please send his best wishes for a speedy recovery.
The steal by Mikulich. And then he turned it over. That's number 8. He's only played 11 minutes. And the Wolverines handed it back. Big Pen with the steal. Mikulich missed the layup. Didn't hit anything.
Here goes another one. Another dunk. Oh, he makes the simple layup.
6 points for Ray Jackson, the sophomore from Austin, Texas.
He's the one guy that doesn't get a lot of publicity when you talk about that class. Good defensive player. Steve said he's the best defensive player on the perimeter.
That's a 2-point field goal for Justice Thigpen. Jimmy King quickly the other way. Got it back off the leg of Eaton for the layup.
Eaton gives him a little assist. He says, hey, Eaton, thanks a lot for the assist. Jimmy King, Plano, Texas. Explosive.
Welcome back to Michigan, Johnny.
Johnny Orr's been coaching over 40 years. Took over at Michigan after a stint over at Massachusetts where he did a solid job.
He was at the University of Massachusetts for 3 years, then an assistant for 1 year at Michigan. Took over and was the head coach of the Wolverines for 12 years, and now in his 13th year at Iowa State at age 65. He signed a 3-year contract.
He's president of the NABC as well, the National Association of Basketball Coaches.
And the winningest coach ever at Michigan with 209, ahead of Bill Frieder. And Steve Fisher's going to move well up that list before he's through.
Hey, great trivia question. Somebody sprung it on us today. What 2 guys active coaching today are been at 2 respective schools and the all-time leaders in wins at those 2 schools?
2 active coaches, both Division I schools. Will give the audience a chance to think about it as they watch the 3-point field goal by Thigpen. And the steal by Mikulich. Thigpen showing no ill effects of the injured knee.
Oh, playing with the ball up there, but they got the foul prior.
Didn't look like it was going to drop in anyway. It appeared to be bouncing off.
Thigpen has to become a positive performer for Iowa State for them to compete in the Big 8. He's got that kind of athletic speed and experience, and he's really been a disappointment early in the season.
For a while, as we mentioned, he was playing with a knee brace on his left knee. He injured that knee in an exhibition game, and he said with the brace, he felt like he couldn't get any elevation on his jump shot, and his numbers are down 5 points fewer per game this season as compared to last.
Yeah, he and Bayless last year wanted to find backcourts in the Big 8. They've always had a tough time, Iowa State, away from home. They've been very effective at the Hilton Coliseum. Johnny Orr told me today, I got to get you down to the Hilton Coliseum. I'd love to go there. I've never been there for a game, Sean, and they tell me it's wild. When he walks out, they play the theme song. Here comes Johnny.
And the free throws by Justice Thigpen narrow the margin to 15 points. We'll be back in just a moment. After missing their first 2 shots, Michigan has hit 16 of its last 17. They lead by 15.
When you talk about playing against Michigan, you better have good defensive transition, and you better have balance on the floor. Take a look right here. Freeze it. See, right here, we look at Michigan in transition. Look at Iowa State, so slow getting back. And the big guy's getting back because the guards are caught back here. There's no balance. And right now, it's a fast break drill. It's layup time. It's show time. It's awesome, baby.
Awesome have been the Wolverines in the first half. 16 of 19 from the floor. And the foul called as Fred Brown stuck his hand in. He's in his first year at Iowa State after 2 years at Labette Community College in Kansas.
He's got super quickness. They think eventually he can be a really solid point guard. Anytime you bring a junior college player into your program, and the Big 8 is famous for that, you'd really like him to step in and start, Sean. He's only got 2 years of eligibility versus a kid out of high school with 4. Michigan just too physical and too quick.
Jalen Rose, the bucket along the baseline. He has 6 points.
There's Mr. Versatility getting that layup inside. You know, a lot of people think I've been critical of Jalen Rose by saying he's not a legitimate point guard. I love Jalen Rose. I just don't think that's the definition of his position. Anybody in their right mind could see he's a tremendous NBA prospect.
Brown forced it and it would not go. It was kept alive by Eaton. Thigpen for three.
Thigpen needs a big game here for confidence.
And he's off to the right start in that direction. 10 points for Thigpen, who averaged 16 per game last year, but is down to 11 this point per game this year. And that's a traveling call against Jalen Rose.
Turnover in the backcourt. Thigpen's all fired up. He's got a lot of his relatives and his friends here. He comes from Flint, Michigan. To me, Flint is one of the towns that produces so many outstanding college prospects for the size. I mean, they get productivity out of that city like you can't believe. Glenn Rice has been from there. Jeff Grayer now playing in the NBA.
3 of the 16 players at Iowa State who have scored 1,000 points in their career are from Flint, Michigan. You mentioned Thigpen and Jeff Grayer, who's the all-time leading scorer, and Barry Stevens is the other. Thigpen off the mark that time. Eric Riley the rebound.
Thigpen's not intimidated, though. You see a little intimidation on the looks of some of the other players for Iowa State, but not Thigpen.
Juwan Howard got it to bounce in. He has 4 points.
Howard very strong inside, knows his limitations. He's really very physical on the interior.
Juwan's coming off his best game against Cleveland State on Monday night. He had 21 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Brown short with it. Jackson ripped down the rebound, then had it taken away by Brown. Hoiberg for 3. Way off. Howard the rebound.
Fred was player of the year last year as a freshman player of the year in the Big 8. Hoiberg had a tremendous season.
He was the first Iowa State player ever to be freshman of the year in the Big 8.
Center to basketball. Center to ball.
Brown missed the layup. Rose stripped by Thigpen. This has been sloppy virtually throughout. We're down to 5:37 to play in the first half. Michigan by 16. Make it 14.
They're getting wide open shots as well, Iowa State. Sustaining intensity is another area where Steve Fisher has to be concerned.
Thigpen with 12 points off the bench for the Cyclones. Jackson into Howard for the turnaround. Riley to follow, and he was fouled. It's a Big Ten officiating crew tonight, and an excellent crew led by Tom Rucker. He's working with Sam Blicklighter and Sid Rodeheffer.
Here's a little information for some of the people out there. I think the NCAA has moved in a positive way in this area. Chris Webber, Jalen Rose, and Juwan Howard have insurance now to protect them in the event of an injury, and the NCAA permits this, and they do not have to pay the fee for the insurance until after they go to the NBA. The maximum that you can get is $2.7 million, scaled on where they think you will be drafted. Webber right now is at the $2.7 million at the highest level.
As he should be.
Well, that's great in a way because it gives a kid a chance, in case of injury, to say, you know, maybe I can't stay in school because even if I get hurt, I still will be protected.
Mikulik and Thigpen have combined for 19 of the 24 Iowa State points. Make it 20 of 25. Do you think we've given the folks enough time to ponder that trivia question?
Yeah, I think spring the answer on it.
The answer is Lefty Drizel.
Lefty Drizel and Johnny Orr.
The only 2 active coaches who are the all-time winningest coaches at 2 different Division I schools. Lefty, of course, at Maryland, and James Madison. Didn't take him long to become the winningest coach at James Madison.
Talley was the guy they thought was going to be the answer to be their point guard. He had the starting job last year, and he lost it. He had the job taken away from him. Steve Fisher gave him every chance to be that starter.
Talley with a good pass into Howard, but then he had it swiped by Hoiberg. 3-on-1 if they hurry. Brown hurries down the lane and misses again. He's missed a couple of layups, and to add insult to injury, he picks up a foul.
This year, Sean, the Big Ten is going to be awesome. I think there are 7 teams in the Big Ten that could be classified as top 30 teams in America, with the exception of Wisconsin, Northwestern, and Penn State.
There are 5 Big Ten teams in the top 25 this week. Ron Bayless returns, and Brown, who's had a tough couple of minutes, goes to the bench.
By mathematics, there's 11 now in the Big Ten, so I would say there's 8 teams that could be classified in the top 30, other than Wisconsin, Penn State, and Northwestern.
Bayless called for the foul on Talley.
Indiana very impressive today against Cincinnati, but Cincinnati playing a little bit short. Nick Van Exel coming back from an injury. Ohio State coming up next against West Virginia in a tough place to win with their young kids. They're a very young basketball team. Spoke to Randy Ayers earlier this week, and he's been excited about the play of his young people.
West Virginia picked by many to win the Atlantic 10.
Oh, I think Temple's going to be tough in that league. There's going to ball down inside. Good move on a baseline.
Howard called for clearing out the man.
Tom Rucker on the game. Outstanding official. 21 years. He's the senior ref in the Big Ten. He's from out of Detroit, Michigan. He's an educator. Hoiberg's got to get really involved offensively. Fred had a great year last year. They need a little scoring out of him.
38-26, Iowa State trying to creep a little closer as we move toward halftime. 4 minutes remaining till the break. Nice backdoor cut by Hoiberg on the feed from Mikulich.
That's the guy that's got to get involved offensively. Hoiberg was such a steady performer last year. The mayor of Ames, Mr. Popularity, football player. Look at this right here. They're only down 10, as dominant as Michigan looked early in this game. I think they can get a deuce anytime they want if they want to slide Weber into the boxes inside.
Howard, long with it. Rebound Mikulich. Advantage is 10 for the Wolverines, and the Cyclones can cut that with a bucket.
Getting good spacing now. Good ball movement. Trying to get a little one-on-one for Thigpen.
Mikulich, a long three miss. The rebound winds up in the hands of Thigpen for three. That's a miss. Rebound, and he was attacked by Lauren Meyer.
Meyer started a few games last year, went to the bench, 6'10".
And that's the first foul on Lauren Meyer. 38-28 Michigan. We'll return to the Palace after this. It was St. Patrick's Day, 1977. Rupp Arena, Lexington, Kentucky, the site, the Mid-East Regional. Johnny Orr, the top-ranked Michigan Wolverines, took on the Titans of the University of Detroit, coached by Dick Vitale. The game was close throughout until Michigan wore them down to the boards. That's Phil Hubbard with the putback. Coach Vitale's last game in college coaching.
I'll tell you one thing, I like you right here a lot better. Undefeated, but that was some night here in the state of Michigan. It was an 86-81 game, went to the last minute. And as Johnny Orr told you tonight, he said, Dick, your team exhausted us physically. We had nothing left, and they were beaten by UNCC with Cornbread Maxwell, who went to the Final Four. And Johnny, I have to say this. We also that year beat his team, coached by Al McGuire in Milwaukee, and they won the national title.
And how could you get out of coaching with the record we saw on the screen?
Well,
That must have been a graphic mistake.
I went to the NBA and I got the Ziggy, but you know what? I lasted longer than Tarkanian, and I went a year and 12 games. I told Jerry today, I said, you only lasted 20 games.
Throws the miss, and the foul is on Eric Riley for coming over the back. So after a real rough beginning, Iowa State starting to creep back into it. They're down 10 with a chance to pull closer.
The next few minutes right now, this little run here by Iowa State, they psychologically can go in that locker room with some confidence if they can make a little spurt here in the last 2.5 minutes.
And they're a team that can hit the three-point shot, as we've seen already.
I woke him up this morning when I called him up in his room. They've got in about 2:30 in the morning after playing last night.
Mikulich at the line. He's 3 for 4. That bounces in. He's from a town of 28,000 in the mountains of Czechoslovakia. Says he sends tapes of every game home to his parents, Julius and Amelia.
They call him Yulo. They'll call him anything he wants to be called if he knocks down that trifecta.
All of a sudden, it's down to 8.
See, here's where now Weber's got to slide inside. They can't handle him down in the box. He's posting. Trying to give a double up.
Weber, strong move along the baseline, and he was fouled by Mikulich. The largest lead for Michigan was 20 points, and the lead now is 8.
I think if Weber goes down in the boxes inside and takes advantage of his tremendous agility, there he is with a James Worthy kind of move along that baseline, he will go to the foul line a great deal. He will score more often. He has a tendency to stay out on the perimeter. The free throw line has been a nightmare for him in his college career.
49% from the line last year for Weber.
Hard to believe that coming into tonight this season, in 5 games, he's only been to the line 12 times.
Against Duke in a big-time game like that, he doesn't shoot 1 free throw. That to me tells me he's not active enough along the boxes on the interior.
Weber with 7 points now. Thigpen the miss. Riley the board, but Meyer got a hand on it. Then it hit Riley. Iowa State ball.
Meyer's one of those space eaters. Takes space on the inside. Riley played at St. Joe's, Cleveland.
And later tonight, the 6th and final game on ESPN today. The Longhorns, led by backcourt mates Terrence Rencher and B.J. Tyler, travel to Salt Lake City to take on Josh Grant and the Utah Utes. It's madness from the Huntsman Center at Utah. That's at midnight Eastern time tonight.
Rick Majerus down there against Tommy Penders. Great backcourt of Texas. But Utah tough at home. Here's a big possession right now. They need a good look, a good shot, some patience. Swing the ball. Michigan's allowing them to swing the ball. And if you could swing the ball, you can break a defense down. See, nobody comes out to challenge the top of the circle, so you can get good shots.
Hoiberg starting to pick it up after a slow start. He has 6 points.
Iowa State's playing with a lot more confidence the last 4 minutes, and that'll happen if you start to convert.
Meyer reached in to tip it away. Hoiberg couldn't get to it. King did, then couldn't save it at his bench.
I think that Michigan, I know I was quoted in the paper here yesterday, I firmly believe this. If they had a legitimate point guard, a la an Adonis Jordan, certainly a Bob Hurley, they then would be totally an invincible basketball team.
The lead is 7, and Iowa State has it with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half.
See, they can swing the ball side to side. There's no denial up on the top. And if you can swing the ball, you can get some good looks at the basket. That's a walk.
And a tough break for Iowa State as Mikulik thought about the 3. He was open to the line, but passed it up and then committed the 9th Cyclone turnover.
Johnny Orr talked to me about that today, about the walk-in violation. He said it's called a great deal on Mikulik, and he thinks he doesn't walk. He thinks he has that European kind of step, but he lifted his pivot foot prior to releasing the ball.
Talley stepped on the sideline.
Michigan out of sync offensively in their 5-man game.
Down to 1 minute to play in the half, and Hoiberg was fouled by Jalen Rose.
Simple cut off the high post. The UCLA high post, the first option of that offense is to run your guard off the high post. Hoiberg does a great job coming right off the high post. Nobody defends him. He goes in. Not a good defensive job by Michigan at all. Their defense is really broken down.
And 3 fouls on Jalen Rose, so that is a potential problem for Michigan. He's replaced by Rob Pelinka. And for Iowa State, Howard Eaton has returned, replacing Mikulik. Fred Hoiberg on the line. He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Iowa after his senior season at Ames High School.
Also an outstanding football prospect.
All-state quarterback in Iowa as a junior and senior in high school. They took the top high jumpers in the state.
They took a real beating from Iowa. I really think the Hawkeyes are going to be special this year. They got a lot of experience. They just have to now prove they can win away from Iowa City.
What was a 20-point Michigan lead is down to 6, under 1 minute to play in the first half. Brown got a hand on it, but couldn't execute the steal. And then Eaton called for bumping Howard from behind. First foul on Howard Eaton, the senior from West Helena, Arkansas.
Iowa State doing a better job defensively, denying passes. Valvano's viewpoints at halftime.
He's in the studio with Chris Fowler. They'll have highlights of East Tennessee and Kansas. And as you saw a moment ago, the Jayhawks were pitching a 17-0 shutout. And Indiana put it on Cincinnati pretty good today.
You like calling those pitching shutouts because you're a baseball superstar. I watched you in the World Series.
Howard got the first one to bounce in. He has 5 points to go along with 7 rebounds.
Everybody should say a prayer for you. Having to work with Vital and McCarver, you're in trouble, baby. You don't get a chance to say a word. You do all that preparation. You say, hi, I'm with Tim McCarver. Hi, I'm with Dick Vital, and it's over.
That's right. It's a good thing I don't get paid by the word. 41-33. They can hold to the last shot if they choose.
Michigan goes to a half-court trap. They throw the diagonal pass to have an open man. Bring the ball away from the trap. So you want to bring the ball away from the trap. Now they're going to run a guy off the high post. They're going to run a guy. The off guard will run right up. Johnny Orr ran that offense while he was at Michigan. He's got to be happy that they can go in this position after the way the game started.
They go down by as few as 5 with a three-pointer. Rejection underneath by Weber as Brown put it up. 5 seconds left in the half, Michigan ball.
One of the reasons they got into a little spurt here, Iowa State, they stopped the transition game of Michigan, which is keyed off the block shot or off the rebound. They made it a little bit more of a, bad play, great steal.
But then a travel called along the near sideline against Brown, so it's still Michigan ball down to 2.8 seconds remaining.
Johnny Orr went to the final game against Bobby Knight in 1976 in the NCAA championship. I thought that was the best team I've ever seen assembled, the Indiana team that went undefeated.
Weber at the buzzer. Well, what effect will that have on the momentum that Iowa State was building approaching the half?
What a momentum builder right there for Michigan to go in the locker room. That's got to really, really hurt.
Michigan by 11 at the break, and here is Chris Fowler.
All right, Sean, thank you. Well, Michigan did fritter away the 20-point lead. Iowa State still hanging around, and Chris Weber still in a little bit of foul trouble, as Jim Valvano pointed out.
Okay, thank you very much, Chris, and welcome back to the Palace, everybody. Michigan by 11 at the break. They led by as much as 20. Iowa State cut it down to as little as 7. And that three-point field goal by Weber at the buzzer looms large.
Well, it really does. It's a great momentum builder. They needed a big play, Steve Fisher's team, because Johnny Orr's team scratched and got back with tremendous defensive transition. Early in the game, there was no defense at all by Iowa State. We take a look right now at Michigan is going to attack a half-court trap. We look at it right in this, freeze it. Right here, we watch the curl move to the open area against the pressure, and they want to open the ball here and then get a diagonal cut for a layup against the trap. We're going to take a look as they curl into the middle to Talley. There's the entry. Freeze it. Right here, everyone's going to converge on the middle of the floor, and Jackson's coming from the weak side, and he's going to get the ball here and dunk for a layup against a defense that was very lackadaisical. There comes Jackson. Good night. It's dunking time. Everybody watches. No one retreats back defensively. Now, later in the game, Iowa State started to execute their half-court offense, the high post offense. We watch right here. Freeze it. See, here's 41 going to lay a screen. When they enter the basketball from the wing, we're going to watch them now reverse the ball, and he's going to make a cut to the basket. Right here, Hoiberg. There's the reverse action. Freeze it. See, right here is the cut, and he beats the defensive player to the basket. There it is, right inside, and he gets fouled on a play. That's the high post execution of the UCLA game.
Underway in the second half. 20 seconds played. An 11-point lead for Michigan at halftime. 44-33.
I've often said there's certain stages of the game of basketball. The post-halftime is a big stage, and right now this is a big area for Iowa State, the next 5 minutes.
That's the shot clock. Down to 6 as Hoiberg hits the follow-up. Hoiberg, Thigpen, and Mikulik have now combined for 32 of the 35 Iowa State points. And a whistle for a foul underneath. It's against Lauren Meyer of Iowa State, his second. The stats from the first half, and the stat that definitely jumps out, the field goal percentage. Iowa State missed its first 6, finished at 32%. Michigan shot 73% for the half. Those missed the first shot of the second half.
They got all those dunks in transition. Nice pass. They beat Michigan down the floor. They beat Michigan in transition. Hey, Thigpen has really played well since coming off the bench.
It was his pass to Mikulik for the bucket. And the lead is down to 7. Weber fouled as he put it up.
Thigpen's got all his fans here and all his friends from out of Flint. He was sitting on the sideline, a little bit humiliated, not starting, but he came off, and he's really been a positive performer. Played at Flint Northwestern High School, the same high school that produced Glenn Rice, who was a brilliant player at Michigan.
Chris Weber at the line. He's now 1 for 3 from the line. He has 11 points tonight, averaging 20 a game. He's leading Michigan coming into tonight in scoring, rebounding, assist, field goal percentage, and block shots.
What else hasn't he done? It's unbelievable. He's got a nice rotation. He just needs more concentration. We say that about a lot of guys that really struggle at the free throw line.
Ron Bayless had a quiet half. Nice pass. Blocked away by Weber, who came in averaging better than 4 blocks per game.
See, that's a dimension that's so special to a team. You can have a breakdown defensively. See, there's a breakdown. That should be an open layup. And there's the great athletic ability of Weber with the shot block. Takes away what should have been an unmolested layup.
Second block shot of the night for Weber. Bayless had it stripped from behind by King into the hands of Juwan Howard, the behind-the-back dribble at 6'9". And Jackson, the strong baseline move.
That's the definition of what we talk about, athletic ability. Quickness, good lateral speed, good up and down speed.
Meyer, the rainbow goes in. 4 points for Lauren Meyer, the sophomore from Ruthven, Iowa.
Started 5 games last season. Had a big game against Oklahoma last year.
2 minutes played, second half. Howard powered it up and was fouled by Mikulik. 3 fouls on Julius Mikulik.
Juwan Howard really knows how to sit in a post area. There he is, sitting down in deep. You can't allow him to get the ball in that deep. Right there, Meyer and Mikulik have to do a better job on post defense to try and keep the ball away from getting that deep to the interior. Hey, Michigan's got a date when they go to that Rainbow Classic first round with a very good Nebraska team. What a tournament that's going to be, the Rainbow. Are you ready for this? North Carolina, Michigan, and Kansas are in that tournament.
Howard hit the first. He has 7 points and 7 boards. Came into tonight averaging 15 points per game.
The Maui Classic's going to be good starting also on Monday. I was with John Saunders this past week. During the week over in Los Angeles, and he's heading out to the Maui. He got Duke in that tournament along with Oklahoma.
How come Saunders and Raftery get to go every year?
I know, they get that assignment. It's unbelievable. They know the boss.
Raftery left about a month ago, I think. Golf clubs in tow.
I met him in the airport in Dallas about 4 days ago.
Oh, Hoiberg hammered to the floor by Ray Jackson.
No one rotating over on defense at all for Michigan to take away the driving lane. Now here's Freddie Hoiberg. He's got the wide open lane. Look at this now. All the Michigan kids basically, no one really rotates over quick enough to take his drive away, but Jackson with the foul. They run a little isolation right there against the Michigan half-court defense.
Hoiberg, an excellent free throw shooter. Jackson was called for the foul. At one point last year, Hoiberg hit 34 free throws in a row, an Iowa State record.
I still think Indiana, watching them earlier this year and watching Michigan right now, being very candid in my evaluation, I would give the edge at this time to Indiana. I think Indiana's offense is much more effective unless Michigan can get down a little bit more, get the ball to the box to Weber. That's where he belongs. But he is so skilled at handling the ball, he wants to be a guard at times.
13 points for Chris Weber. The lead is 10. It was 11 at halftime. Justice Thigpen helped bring the Cyclones back into the game with offense off the bench. He missed, but Hoiberg was there to follow, and he has 13 points.
Always seems to be, we're talking about a player that's in the right place. We're talking about Hoiberg. He seems to be there all the time.
Howard. Rebounded by Jackson. He ripped it away from Mikulik.
He just wanted the ball a little bit more. Jackson wanted the ball, was much more aggressive.
Jackson the strip as Thigpen was eyeing the layup. It's Iowa State ball.
Good job by Jackson. He scores on the offensive glass, and then he comes back in defensive transition. There's the Maui Classic.
Starting on Monday with first-round action, Memphis State against Chaminade, number 9 Oklahoma versus BYU. And the number 1 team in the nation, Duke against DePaul. Begins at 2 Eastern time and carries right through to the Duke-DePaul game at 9:30. Another big basketball day. Not quite 6 games in one day, but a full enough slate.
We only had 6. I want Lauren Matthews and Tomo Jackson, our program guys, to have a whole day, 24 hours of hoop hysteria. And I want to do every game.
Bayless for 3, along with it. Long rebound controlled by Thigpen, stripped by Jackson out of bounds.
Bayless really has not been able to contribute. I mean, you're talking about a guy like we talked about, had 32 against Kentucky. He and Thigpen have been such positive players in the past.
Thigpen, that's long. And controlled by Jalen Rose.
This is where Michigan excels, getting the ball out quickly, beating the defense down the court.
King missed the layup. Hoiberg the rebound.
Here's Iowa State running up and down the floor with him. Cyclones, if they swing the ball, they'll get the great shot, but he says, hey, forget about it. I'm knocking the three down, Mikalik.
Julius Mikalik with 16 points, and all of a sudden, it's a 7-point game again. We've played 4 minutes in the second half.
This is the area I think Michigan does not excel. They do a good job right there with shot selection. They said, that's for you, Dick, baby. We can play in a half-court change.
Juwan Howard scored again. He is 10, the sophomore from Chicago out of vocational high school.
Post defense really weak for Iowa State.
Good drive by Bayless, the left-handed runner. His first bucket of the night.
Bayless played with Greg Graham in high school together over in Indianapolis.
He's called for the foul, turned and looked at Dick Vitale and said, that was not a foul. Iowa State hanging right in there with 15:33 to play. The Cyclones are down by 7. Welcome back to the Palace, where Michigan leads by 7.
Sean, we're going to watch Chris Webber go where he really is almost unstoppable. We're going to watch him right here. Get inside. Freeze it. See, right here now, he's setting up for a spin move to get inside Mr. Meyer. We take it. Now, there it is inside. Freeze it. See, now here it is. He's got inside position. Meyer is in big, big trouble. It's an M&M'er now, baby. It's a mismatch. I mean, there's no contest down there in the box. He says, Lauren, I am one of America's premier players.
Juwan Howard short with it, batted around to Mikalik. He thought about running, and now he's just trying to regain the handle.
Physically, they can't handle Howard and Webber on the boxes. Iowa State has to hope that Michigan does not consistently go to them inside. There's that high post offense, and they swing the ball. A little double screen.
And Thigpen in and out. They had a chance to get it to 5 at that gun, and now it's 3-on-1.
Layup time. There it is. Transition. Oh!
Rose the missed, and Howard missed a tip. Jackson keeps it alive. He's in a strong game tonight. 12 points for Ray Jackson, who came in averaging only 6 points a game.
He's very active on the offensive end. Oh, they right there, a little simple cut off the high post. You got to jump ball side, got to jump to the ball defensively. Can't allow that little move. Thigpen's getting wide open, getting no arc on his shot.
And the rebound came down to Howard.
See, right now, Michigan should call a set play down to the boxes. Set play either to Howard or Webber on the interior.
Howard. There it is, Dick. And Bayless committed the foul. A mismatch from a size standpoint as Bayless, the guard, tried to check Howard but could not.
Sean, physically inside, they have no post defense to play against the strong people like Howard. Howard's trying to lock in a box. He gets the good angle, the good pass to the baseline side. They get the ball away from the defensive end, and Juwan Howard's got very quick feet.
Whistle stops the play for a substitution. Bayless had gone out of the game, and Iowa State only had 4 men on the floor. Bayless picked up his 4th foul, and he's been replaced by Harold Beecham. Jimmy King comes back in for the Wolverines.
Bosco is not able to play tonight for Michigan. It takes away a little bit of their bench play. Steve Fisher, when you think about what he's achieved, he goes 6-0 as an interim coach, wins the national title in 1989 on a dramatic one-on-one made by Ramil Robinson to beat Seton Hall. Then he goes back to the final game last year with 5 freshmen. Just incredible. But now he's placed the burden because of expectations. I mean, everybody in his town is thinking one thing, national title or Big Ten.
It's almost to the point where anything else would be a major disappointment.
Which is unfair. Nice cut. There's that simple high post cut. What Michigan's not doing defensively, Sean, is jumping to the basketball to take away that cut off the high post.
14 points off the bench for Justice Thigpen. Nice pass. A slam dunk off the feed from Howard.
That's the monster dunk. Good interior pass. Good cut without the ball by Webber. He was a super in high school at Detroit Country Day. He, along with Glenn Robinson, were the 2 best high school players that came out 2 years ago.
Mikalik went down in a heap, and he's just now getting up along the baseline.
They throw a skip pass over the defense. They got Mikalik for a 3.
The lead is back up to 11. Beecham, a wild shot, but he was shoved.
Beecham had a big game last night in the start, knocked down 4 threes. You heard me correct. They played last night. Less than 24 hours later, they're playing here against Michigan.
Weber to the bench, replaced by Eric Riley.
I think Weber will be one of the first 3 guys taken in the NBA draft, along with Jamal Mashburn and Anthony Hardaway. I believe those 3, when they study and analyze the senior class, they'll have basically no decision but to come out with the kind of dollars they're looking at. And that's unfortunate in a way that we in college lose these guys, but with that kind of money, you can't blame them. Take a look at the senior class right now, Sean. And right now, the 3 guys I mentioned, Weber and certainly Mashburn and Hardaway, I believe would be taken ahead of those 5 who are very good players, but certainly not dominant players for the next level.
Earl Beecham made 2. He now has 3 points tonight. And the lead is 9 for Michigan with 13:10 to play.
See, they have to find a way to stop Michigan on the interior.
Great pass by Howard to Rose. He missed a short one, then the travel called in the backcourt.
They got a lucky break right there. Rose came up a little empty on the layup, but Michigan had beautiful execution.
And Iowa State, if they get it to 7, 9, 7, and then they have a chance to do better, and it's a mistake like this that cost them that opportunity.
With the threat of the 3, though, they can get in a scary position. Right now, if you're Steve Fisher, you're not relaxing. I can guarantee you that. That suit is getting sweaty like you can't believe the perspiration.
Foul away from the ball, and it's a foul against Eric Riley of Michigan.
Riley played in high school with Elvis Gerback, the quarterback, played basketball at St. Joseph's, and a guy by the name of the Heisman winner, Desmond Howard. But the best basketball player ever at that high school is our own Clark Kellogg.
Yes.
He was super at St. Joe's.
In Cleveland, Ohio. 12:43 to play here at the Palace in Auburn Hills, Michigan. First time ever that Michigan has played a regular season game here. They've played 4 exhibition games in this building over the years.
If I were Johnny Orr right now, I'd call a set play for maybe a double screen for Mikalik to get a good look to shoot the 3.
9-point lead for Michigan. This is Stigpen on the floor with Hoiberg, Meyer, Mikalik, and Beecham for Iowa State.
There's that high post cut. They're running that consistently. That's part of his offense. He used to run that like you couldn't believe with Ricky Green in '76 and Phil Hubbard.
Now an illegal screen called against Iowa State. Lauren Meyer guilty of the foul. And that's his 4th. Rose scores over Meyer.
He's a big-time scorer. If he can catch the ball on the wing, he's got that nice 15-foot touch. Good one-on-one player as well. Jalen Rose started at Southwestern High School. Played with Rashawn Leonard, a heck of a player at Minnesota.
Big pen open, and that's good.
They're really getting good shots off a simple option off that high post offense. But the question is, can they stop Michigan down here in a 5-man game on a boxing? See, that's where Michigan's really been hurting them inside.
Meyer nearly picked up his 5th foul as he reached over Riley.
Well, Meyer should have the strength to play Riley inside, but they're getting the ball inside. Right at Meyer.
And that should be number 5. The bucket's good for Eric Riley, and it looked like the foul was on Meyer, and if it is, he's finished. It is.
Steve Fisher doing a good job on that sideline, calling and making sure that they get the ball down inside. There they drive the ball at Meyer with his 4 fouls. Once the ball gets in that deep and you do not get into denial position and keep the ball and cut the passing lane, you're in trouble against the way these guys can execute on the boxes.
Fred down here, man.
Steve Fisher, as we said, an amazing story. I think about Bill Frieda. He's had so many problems this year down at Arizona State. You know, Frieda used to play a lot of cupcakes. In fact, when Frieda, I used to tease him about his cupcakes. I'm really surprised that he never called Red Klotz up of the Washington Generals and booked them since they lost about 500 in a row. Played every other cupcake.
No cupcakes on the floor here tonight in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Johnny Orr down by 12. Dick, you have fans everywhere.
Uh-oh. Wow, they spelled my name right. I can't believe it. I think that was Fowler and Valvano up there. They came in and put my name up there. Now they're taking it down. Valvano said I got too much publicity.
They're just going to shorten you a little. Drop the L and the E.
Okay, now we get into a real crucial time for Iowa State. Here's the trap. You got to get the ball away from the trap. There's the skip pass.
Beecham for three. Short. And the rebound by King. He has Weber ahead of the field.
Okay. Hello. Hello.
17 for Chris Weber. And the Wolverines are starting to open it up again. They're up by 14. They led by as many as 20 in the first half.
Well, he snuck out. He got ahead of the defense. Nobody rotated back. Had no balance defensively.
And that was the 5th dunk of the night for Chris Weber.
You got to rotate back the guards to protect against the transition game. In fact, against Michigan, you really only can send 3 guys to the offensive boards and usually have 2 retreat.
Big pen. Short with it.
Uh-oh, here comes the running game again.
3-on-1. Weber behind.
Showtime! It's Hollywood time! And there's the maestro man, Mr. Weber! Macy Christopher Weber! And they're rocking and rolling in the palace. And it's not for the Pistons, Sean.
Michigan's on a 9-2 run over the last 2.5 minutes, and they've done it with flair.
They've done it with pizzazz and with jazz. Here comes the no-look. Look like Jimmy King. He kicks it out. And here's Mr. Weber with the reverse jam. Hello. And now Mr. Weber says, I'm going to make like the Magic Man. I'm going to go around the back, baby. And there's Mr. Jackson. He says, good night. And the Muhammad Alis of college basketball put a little spurt on with a little showtime.
And Weber nearly had another steal, and Bayless lost him. Bayless has had a very tough night.
This is a danger time right now for the big-time blowout. A little fatigue setting in. Michigan starting to get in gear in a transition game. Big night for Weber.
Rose says, I want to have a big night, too.
Look at this. Now a little showtime. A little hot dog time. Here it is. Look, you don't need all this. You don't need all this.
Well, that's what bugs some people about Michigan.
Yeah, it really bothers a lot of their alumni. I'll be honest with you. And it bothers a lot of people. I had a lot of people come to me, Michigan people themselves, who really feel that this is totally unnecessary. Now, there's the great drive to the basket. He scores. I mean, I know he wants to praise his teammate. It's okay to praise your teammate. But you don't need all of those histrionics and carrying on. And no need for it. Absolutely no need for it.
Foul was on Eaton, his third. Rose finished off the three-point play, and Michigan is approaching its largest lead. They're up by 19. They led by 20 at 30-10 in the first half.
Well, one thing we haven't seen any real trash talking by the Michigan players to anyone else on the floor, which they've been accused of quite a bit.
Weber. Unselfishly, Howard down to King for the layup.
They're going to do anything they want right now, Sean. You put any score you want in a book because it's right now over, baby. This game is academic.
And they're warming up at the Coliseum in Morgantown. Our next game, West Virginia hosting Ohio State. That one bounced in charitably for Mikalik, who has 18 points.
He's a good shooter. He's got a good look at the basket. Michigan just too athletic.
Howard got away with the bad pass, and Weber will go to the free throw line. The foul on Hoiberg.
Maybe your best bet is anytime they enter the ball inside is to foul Weber and let him go to the line and hope at best he converts 1 out of 2.
Now Johnny Orr starting to go to his bench. This is Mike Bergman, a junior from Waverly, Iowa, and he replaces Howard Eaton.
I really believe because of the style of play of the Michigan players that you really put so much pressure on a coaching staff. Steve Fisher, oh, that was not even close. Steve Fisher really is in a situation as we look at Fisher right now. I think he feels a lot of pressure from a lot of people because of their style of play and their antics on the court. And it really creates a real nightmare for him.
2 of 5 from the line is Weber. 2 of 6. Hoiberg couldn't control it. Jackson did. Rebound Mikalik. Nearly a steal by Rose. Bayless picks it out for the 3 from Thigpen.
This is where they excel. Look at them. They're down the court so quickly, so powerful on the inside.
Howard. Bergman got a piece of it. It was nearly tipped in. Weber does score.
He's just having a field day down in the interior. He's going to be an excellent power forward at the next level. He starts to really work a little more on posting inside.
Weber is 19. Bayless missed a long three. Big pen by Weber.
I think that Chris has so much more potential than what we even see. I think he's unlimited how talented this guy is. He's got a nice hairdo, too. I tell you, it's matching mine.
Wants to look more like us.
Yeah. Make my all Kojak team.
I can't imagine that's true. 77-56. We'll be back in just a moment. Remember to stay tuned for our Big Ten Atlantic 10 clash as Lawrence Funderburk leads the Buckeyes into Morgantown to take on West Virginia. That's coming up next. The 5th of 6 games today on ESPN.
I think the Buckeyes are really going to get better and better. If people are going to beat them, they better beat them early because their young kids are starting to get really positive minutes. Hey, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I've just been playing here. I'm going to challenge in a minute or two. Let you think about this. I'm going to give you 5 guys I'm going to take in a Big Ten, and I'll challenge the rest of the nation, and we'll play them at any time with the 5 I'll put together.
All right.
Right, go, Mike.
Weber missed a 3.
And I'll guarantee you he'll be one of the 5.
Palenka tracked down the rebound. He's checked in for Michigan. 77-56 Wolverines. Weber gets it to drop in. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 2 steals tonight for Chris Weber before 19,103 at the Palace.
I believe if he was selfish and wanted to score 30 a game and just wanted to go inside, it'd be an NC. No contest with people trying to check him on the box.
Under 8 minutes to play. Mikeli still firing. He's up to 20 points.
He's just a bona fide shooter. He's got that velvet touch, the great release.
Jackson answers with a 2. He was on the line, and that's a career high. 16 points for Ray Jackson. His previous best was 13 earlier this year against Detroit Mercy.
He's had a big game here for him, giving him a great spark off the offensive board.
Palenka. Jackson. And now Weber settles it with Michael Talley. 81-58. Michigan with the lead. They're on their way to a record of 5-1. Weber trying to add an assist or 2 to his already impressive column.
He really is an unselfish player.
And Howard lost it along the end line.
Okay, my front court. This is my front court. Chris Weber in the middle. Well, I'll put him, Chris Weber in the middle. Lawrence Funderburk, my power forward. Glenn Robinson, my 3-man, who's unbelievable down at Purdue. And then I'll go in a backcourt with Jalen Rose and Calbert Chaney. That's an NBA big-time team. Now, you think about it. Anybody out there wants to write me, come up with 5 to challenge him, and we'll say, let's play.
How about the Chicago Bulls?
You like that team, though?
I do like your team, but I might be able to come up with 5 from all the other conferences in the country.
Yeah, take anybody you want. You wouldn't get a rebound with Funderburk, Weber, and also Robinson against me. And then Rose, are you kidding?
What
Rose
about guys like Mashburn?
Yeah, not bad.
Bayless thought he was fouled. The crowd chants air ball. Talley lost it to Bayless. And then Talley reached out and grabbed Bayless, and the crowd groans.
It's got to be a tough time for Michael Talley. Call for the foul. Came to Michigan so highly acclaimed out of high school. In fact, they really thought he was going to be one of the real big-time special players here when he graduated from Cooley High School.
He was Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan in 1989. Led Cooley High to 3 consecutive Class A state championships here in Michigan.
2 years ago, he had some great minutes that he played until the arrival of the Fabulous 5.
6:25 to play, 81-58 Michigan.
I believe after a while, sometimes all the publicity and notoriety these young kids hurts you psychologically. They're just destroying them on the interior. No post defense is the big dilemma here tonight for Iowa State.
Bayless fouled by Talley. 3 fouls on Talley. Well, if you were going to start with the backcourt to play against your team, Bobby Hurley.
And Allen Houston. Mashburn across the front.
I'm trying to remember who else was on your Super 5. It was Chris Mills.
Yeah, you can take Mills there. Put Mills at one of the forward slots.
So you need one more.
I still like my team.
I kind of like your team, too.
I like my team physically.
Jackson gets a big hand, and deservedly so. He's had the best scoring night of his career. 16 points for Ray Jackson.
Well, he gets all the handshakes from Steve Fisher, Perry Watson.
Bayless made the first.
Iowa State's going to win a lot of games yet, and they're going to win especially at the Hilton Coliseum, where last year they were 14-2. They're going to be very tough to beat at home. But right now, you'd have to talk about major disappointments early this year based on production at the end of last year. I'd have to label them as my major disappointment early, and my major surprise early, UCLA. UCLA losing all those guys, McLean and Murray and Matkins, and really winning on a road today, beating Georgia, beating Florida State over in New York. I think Jimmy Herrick's done a heck of a job with a team that doesn't have a whole lot of depth.
Under 6 minutes to play. Michigan by 23. Dugan Fife, number 11, is checked in for Michigan.
His dad played for Johnny Orr. In fact, his father was also an assistant coach under Orr in the mid-70s.
Dan Fife, the former Michigan captain under Johnny Orr.
You got all those names. I mean, you do your research. I'll tell you, you're right there. You've impressed me. I might hire you.
Dugan Fife with the ball. Now Howard. Oh! Howard put it just above the rim, and Eric Riley dropped it in. 7 points for Riley.
It's really nice that you can go to your bench for a guy like Riley who could start for a lot of colleges. In fact, Johnny Orr was saying today, can you imagine? He comes off the bench.
Largest lead now for the Wolverines, 25 points as we tick down to 5 minutes remaining. Eaton scored over Riley. First points of the night for Howard Eaton.
He's got to start to give them some positive minutes like he did last year. They need him on a consistent basis to perform. Came out of junior college. He's from the state of Arkansas.
Been bothered a bit by an injured right knee. You see the brace that number 43 for Iowa State wears on his right knee. He had arthroscopic surgery during the summer.
He's a tough defensive player. Had 20 last year when they beat Iowa.
Eaton was on the line and missed the 2. Howard the rebound. 4.5 to play. And the Wolverines lead by 23. Crowd really wants Dugan Fife to shoot. He has the ball now. Nice pass. Talley bumped it off for 2 more. Eric Riley.
Tonight has been a show on the inside. We sound repetitious, but basically it's been the damage down in the boxes. That's the difference. No post defense on the interior for Iowa State.
You mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, as the Cotton Bayless goes in and out, Steve Fisher said, we've been okay, nothing better than that. But tonight, with the exception of that little drought at the end of the first half, they've been better than okay.
Yeah, they definitely. You'd have to give them, I would think tonight, if you have to rate this team, basically a B+ to an A-.
Palenka hit the deck, bodies flying everywhere. The garbage collected by Howard, who was fouled by Fred Brown.
You know, Johnny Orr in the mid-70s did such a great job here at Michigan, but unfortunately for Michigan, he had 4 straight second-place finishes to the Hoosiers when they had that great run with the Quinn Buckner era. And when you think of this man putting in 40 years of coaching, I mean, that's an amazing achievement in itself. And he's really resurrected basketball at Iowa State. They were drawing about 6,000 fans a game until he arrived, and now it's up to over 13,000.
What a job he has done. When he arrived in Ames, Iowa State had not been to a postseason tournament in 40 years. In the 12 years that he's been there, they've been to 5 NCAAs and 1 NIT. 6 of the school's 8 postseason tournaments have come during the Johnny Orr era.
And on the other side, you look at Steve Fisher. He had that big year. He wins the national title, 6 consecutive wins, and then they came back with 4 starters, and it was sort of a disappointment. They had only lost Glenn Rice, and they finished 23-8. Then he had the losing season, 14-15, and has an amazing 12-2 march in the NCAA tournament. And then last year with the Fabulous 5, they were 25-9.
Are you surprised, given the margin that Weber and Rose and Howard are all still on the floor?
Not really. I think he's trying to get them to play at another level because of the fact that they've struggled a little bit this year. Other than a game against, they blew out Cleveland State, coached by Michael Boyd, who was responsible for recruiting a lot of the kids that won the national title.
Weber sent it out quickly. Talley couldn't save it in front of the Michigan bench.
And plus, his bench is really not that deep. I'm not shocked at all. I think that the three-point shot, the danger in college basketball, I mean, this game is academic. We know that.
Leon Derrick's a freshman from Flint, Michigan, another player out of Flint. checks in for Howard, who goes to the bench with 15 points and 11 rebounds. A very productive night for Juwan Howard.
You know, coaches get really scared with that three-point shot. I think of West Virginia losing a 10-point lead to South Alabama with a minute to go.
And Bergman scores his first bucket of the night. He's an excellent student, Mike Bergman, first team academic all Big 8 last year. Talley lost it.
I've got Weber down in there. You don't want to chance an injury right now. You look at the time. No need for Chris to be on the floor. Hey, listen to me. Listen to me. He's taking Weber out. I mean, he must be wired to us, Sean.
See the earplug in his ear.
Wow. Perry Watson, I'll guarantee you he's going to be a head coach somewhere sitting next to Fisher. He's on Fisher's right, next to Chris Weber now.
Jason Bossert is checked in wearing number 22. He's guarding Brown and caused the turnover into the hands of Riley. Rose, a long three, way off. Rebounded by Thigpen. 4-on-1 Cyclones. Nice play.
I think the one thing they found out here tonight, Iowa State, that Justin Thigpen is really going to be able to help them. Have a little showtime.
After the bucket by Beecham, the alley-oop to Eric Riley.
It's dunking time, little dunking time.
Approaching 2 minutes remaining. Michigan by 24. They led by 11 at the half.
Michigan gets a great high school player next year, a point guard, Bobby Crawford from out of Texas. Very highly rated out of Houston, Texas.
And Thigpen scores again. 18 points for Justice Thigpen, who was second team all Big 8 last year.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt he has to be inserted in that starting lineup. But he's playing for little bragging rights now against the Michigan kids since he's from Flint. He'd go out there with his chest high and say, hey, I lit him up. I had some points off that bench.
Brown, the pull-up three, didn't hit the rim.
Okay, here we go. Hello, oh, little showtime. Hello, let's rate down to 10. He's having fun.
Jalen Rose putting an exclamation point on this one. 13 points for the sophomore from Detroit.
I can see, though, how they can really rub people the wrong way. Because the one thing you don't want to do is humiliate people. You really don't want to embarrass people. And even though they may think they're having fun,
Garrett's the shot off the feed from Fife.
It's all kinds of high fives on that sideline. They're going to have moments like this when they overpower people, but the big question will be, what will they be like in the close game when they hook up with people that can challenge them on the inside?
Jalen Rose takes a seat. 17 dunks tonight for the Wolverines. They lead 94-68 under a minute to play. And for Iowa State, as you pointed out earlier, high expectations this year with 21 wins in the tournament last year and everybody back of consequence. But this is 3 quality teams they played now, Florida State, Iowa, and Michigan, and they've been bombed by all 3.
Exactly. That's the key question, the key statement what you just made. It's not bad if they would have lost these 3 teams away from home, but the bottom line is they've been bombed by all 3. They've been really beaten severely, so therefore, really, they got to question themselves in terms of their ability level.
And bumped as he shot was Donnell Bivens, who's seeing his first action of the night at junior.
And it's not going to get easy in that Big 8 because Kansas and Oklahoma certainly look really tough again this year. Missouri will be a good basketball team, and it's so difficult in the Big 8 to win away from home.
Okay, 2 shots, man, relax. 2 times, catch your breath.
I really have a problem. I told you earlier, Sean, before we had our production meeting, I really have a problem with kids having to travel like they had to travel, play last night, and play in less than 24 hours. I'm not saying that the score would have been any different. Michigan's certainly the superior team. But I think the NCAA is going to stop those things from happening because I think it's unfair to the young athletes. I think if you're going to travel, as I said earlier, 48 hours should be allowed before you allow a team to play in a back-to-back situation, traveling more than 100 miles.
Jason Bossert lost the handle. Bergman the long pass to Thigpen. And he's had a nice night in front of his family and friends who have made the trip from nearby Flint. And that'll do it.
It's over, baby. They made that one run, Iowa State, to put a little scare, but then ultimately, Mr. Weber and company just took over. He's a Rolls-Royce performer.
Michigan shot 65% for the game. And the final score, the Wolverines 94, the Cyclones 72. For Dick Vitale, Sean McDonough saying so long from Auburn Hills, Michigan. And once again, here's Chris Fowler.